Hey y'all, great to see you guys. Okay, sorry you have to look at my menu. We're gonna have to, my phone was fucking up, acting weird. So, we gotta go to YouTube because I want to show you guys this. This guy is really good. I used to watch him way back in the day. I just started recently watching him. But 4 weeks ago, he does sign language by body, like the body analyst. So he is a language body analyst, and there he is. There he is. You guys can see who he is. Shout out to Observer. Him and his wife used to do a few things, but he does all kinds of different crime cases, different things. He does a lot. It's not showing me. Oh no, did I lose it? Okay, here we go. Here we go. I want you guys to listen to him just a little bit, if I can.
Actually believe or buy that he has not been approached or talked to or contacted by law enforcement on any level for the time that he's been saying here, even indicated by his own nonverbal communication and the verbal phrasing that he used in that sentence in and of itself. So perhaps there has been more contact, and that also then just builds a little bit more towards this. The Wells family is very anti whoever else is really out there trying to help, but also demanding everybody try to help side of things. It's a complex case, to be sure. Anyways, let's continue.
Don says he feels that he and his wife Candace were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us, they belittled us, and done everything they could amidst all the chaos, and then the CPS was there doing the same thing.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Don spoke about a Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids.
The whole time that I used to watch this guy, Observer, back in the day, I never really heard anything bad things about him. Like, we need good people to, and he does have a lot of knowledge. Like I said, just recently started watching him again. And I just discovered this. And let me know what you guys think about him. I think he does know a little bit what he's talking about when he's observing their language. And we'll just listen for a little bit more. But, I got to pause and,
It's loaded guns to play with.
Pause for the cause.
And so they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just close cases. So,
all right, I'm going to go ahead and pause here because we're already dealing with a fair bit of information. Not too much non-verbally was happening throughout this period, but verbally speaking, what he has already done again is paint himself against the people that he is trying to ask for help. He's saying that law enforcement was attacking them, that they were belittling them, a whole slew of things, and that Child Protective Services is also villainized during this period as well. And again, the living conditions that they had provided for the children were not acceptable living conditions for children to be raised in.
No,
ergo, the children being removed from that environment. Now, with this accusation of giving firearms to their children, he doesn't address it outside of this little blip here. And from everything else that I've seen, it would not seem unlikely for him to have done that. Either they didn't give it directly to the children and it was just neglectful. The children found the firearms and were using them,
true,
and the
guys?
parents didn't care. Or
do we know in the Summers case if like what is what is that? I have a video coming for you guys too as well. But do we know if is that true? And is there anywhere in the line of, oh shoot, we need that, of Summer Wells and the kids playing with guns? I've never heard that throughout this whole entire, I've never heard that, you guys. So I'm know parts of Summer. I know little bits of Summer Wells, especially from all the the crazy mayhem that the YouTubers did, getting the parents fired from their jobs, and, that's totally, we're supposed to give the parents the benefit of the doubt, proven to guilty. What I think with Summer, I think the parents know more, but it seems like, down in Tennessee, a lot of kids go missing, and I'm wondering if it's the HT. So I'm wondering if this guy talks about any of that. He must be going over the interviews. I think he's done another Don Wells video before. I want to check back and look, because this was 4 weeks ago, and it's Summer Wells' parents 3 years later. So, I don't know. Let's listen a little bit more.
Perhaps it was intentionally done. Not
But I've never heard of guns, them playing with guns. Never once in my life have I heard that. Let me know if you guys have.
Either of those two options seem very far-fetched from the background and the history from what I was able to see from the Wells. Now, throughout this little interview here, which is, again, 3 years later, Candace never says anything in this interview. I reached out to the news organization to see if there was extended footage that I could take a look at, but I was not able to hear back from them, at least by the making this video here. So perhaps there will be more centered around this specific clip, this interview. Perhaps there will be more interviews to be able to take a look at, but in this one, Candace doesn't respond at all or mention anything at all, and many people feel like that is a fairly telling thing, that she's staying completely silent during this. But there are also a slew of other interviews and clips of Candace talking to people, so I wouldn't necessarily say that her silence in this is an extremely telling factor. It is interesting, to be sure, and it does seem to indicate perhaps a level of detachment from the situation, which this would also not be the first time that we have seen this level of detachment from this case from both parents. Again, it's very fascinating. And then this last...
I literally like this guy. I forgot why I ever stopped watching him. I've never heard anything bad about him. I love his intro. I'm glad his intro is still the same intro, so shout out to him. But yeah, you guys go check this out. There's certain things, like I never heard of the guns, the kids playing with guns. Pew-pews. Have you? I just think that just gets me. I don't know. I was going to go live today, but I do have to take the hubby for his consultation, for his teeth surgery. So, probably won't see you guys for a while. Well, at least today. That's why I'm doing some videos for you for in the morning. But I just wanted to drop this to you guys to see if anybody out here has noticed this. I would rather have people like this person, Observer, other people going over Summer Wells. I mean, we know there's nothing new, but it's better than having who, the Tiger. I just don't think he needs to be anywhere near any, kid cases. He needs to focus on getting better. When you're that off and mental sick, and you start to believe your own whoppers, you need to log off, get your mental health in check. You say you got the C, you need to take time off, and you need to heal yourself. You should have no business, if you're not well, you should not be into children's cases. If you are, especially him of all people, because of the fact and stuff that he has done. We have all these bad creators, and I'm lumping some of the bad ones together with the Tiger, because BHB is right along with the T guy. They're trash. It's just straight point trash. They are the scum of the scum. You have some really crappy YouTubers out there that are in it for the money. But just this guy genuine really does, if I can pull it up here. I'm trying to give him a shout out and show you guys some of the videos he's done, some of the work that, you know, I like this guy. He does really good. Him and his wife his wife has made her presence a few times in his videos. I wonder what some of the comments are on this. I clicked so fast. Summer has not left my mind in the last 3 years. Isn't that so true, you guys? Going to church doesn't make you one religious person anymore. Yeah, so he's got, you know, there it goes. Really great channel. He is group certified. But some of the videos on here you can see. He does a lot. Chris Watts. I did follow him a lot when he did the Chris Watts. I also followed him when he was doing the Amber Heard stuff. I really followed him when he did the Amber Heard stuff. But he does great things, guys. I like him, so check him out. He does a lot of The Observer. So let's listen to a little bit more.
Last verbal thing that he says here where CPS does not close cases, I went ahead and I dug into that and looked around a little bit. That's not true. CPS closes cases regularly. There are some forms and some systems that they go through to be able to get to the point of closing a case, but it is still closed. And then along with that, CPS isn't necessarily the ones who are in charge of closing said cases. It's oftentimes down to a judge or a legal statement saying that the case is closed. So there's some misinformation that he's presenting here as well with CPS doesn't ever close cases. They always keep them open. Not true. So again, we're seeing Don trying to hypervillainize the people that are really largely supposed to be there for the children. And that's fascinating to me, in that this is all centered around trying to make sure that the children are okay. It's just interesting details. Let's continue.
So it's really odd and mystifying why they closed the case June 14th, and then 24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candace, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to try, but her emotions are just too much.
Which I don't necessarily buy that either, with Candace sitting in and her emotions being too much. In the little clip that we got to see of Dawn and Summer sitting together, the nonverbal indicators from Summer were not showing any level of emotional distress. There was a slight eye roll in there. There were no indicators of emotional seepage. It didn't look like she was about to cry. There weren't any hot areas of activity across her face, perhaps in the glabella area or in the corners of her mouth, where you might be able to start seeing some of these emotional tells start to creep out. It was fairly detached, and then there was the slight eye roll in there as well as the conversation was being had between the interviewer and the Wells parents. So Candace not speaking and Dawn saying, oh, it's because she was too emotional, that to me does feel less likely. It is messy, to be sure, and non-verbally speaking, we're not seeing these indicators that Dawn is claiming. Regardless, now we're going to move on to the assistant director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the TBI, and he is speaking on the progress of the case itself. So let's watch how that is, and we'll talk about his nonverbals at the end of that.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost.
Oh shit!
It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just.
Finish watching this. I don't want him to get this person, you know, I'm still new to all this, but I just wanted to give this guy a shout out. You guys go listen, check him out.